Utie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
Where the constituents become interested in what you are going to vote on, you as a representative become a delegate. See, there are various models of representation. When the political science class, but make up two models. One model is trusteeship. The other model is the delegate model. Now, if members of the public or the constituents are not so much directly interested in something that you are voting on, you are supposed to operate the trusteeship model. In operating the trusteeship model, you use your conscience and you use your expertise and you vote based on what you think will be in the interest of your constituents. But when the constituents become so attached and they become so interested in the issue at stake, and they speak their mind and they tell you that then you, the representative, you become a delegate. A delegate has no conscience of his own in representation. A delegate has no view of his own in representation. A delegate only mirrors the view of his constituents. And to the extent that the constituents and the owners of the land had a certain view, omo propagate, omo shesenka parliamentarians no edebe yedwuma na omo amfanye yedwuma eye ni ngwase
bi mu za kakra achire yade na ato yasom but ukuru ya no uchire ye say MPs the omo ba parliament omo represent omo constituents that defeats the purpose of say NDC from the center issue we can say a fiat edema MPs there they should vote
adakabre I'm say the make no I'm say what my patro mami biem yi na say mami emphasize
okay
patro the call for downsizing of the government is not an NDC call patro tie the make an yi me say me catch you say me say the owners of the land have made that call and a matter of who the owners of the land are. So the various identifiable groups, including you guys in the media. Even those of you in the media, the owners of the land. One might make a call. Two society leaders have made calls. Leaders of identifiable groups, or make a call. Ghana Pentecostal Council, or make a call. UTAG, make a call. When all the identifiable groups, I make a call. And NDC also have to make a call. And even some people within the ruling MPP, Nankasakrano, and make a call. One thing, and I would say, say a group of 80 something can say, young Sake, young Reshafu, young downsizing.
In fact, my question is at the core of that emphasis here was on the bay. Me, it say, owners of the land, empirical evidence ben the war ebema MP dia ye nyina so yes indeed owners of the land say menko this way of which are representation two models now can MP no betimi dia ye nyina so say I have no other means than to go according to the dictates of the owners of the land.
You know me can say number one the one quiet research one quiet research one directly to the ordinary people. Okay? One quote directly to the ordinary people. Na binti went to me enya akwenya any or more ankasa. The one call for they also serve as representatives of the ordinary people. Now, let me tell you the definition of civil society. Civil society is the coming together of various non-state groups, okay, to provide a linkage between the governed and the government. By such linkage that they provide, they are expected to understand and articulate the concerns of the ordinary people for government to redress those concerns. And they are also expected to articulate, understand the workings of government and articulate the concerns of government for the ordinary people also act on if it requires their action. By definition, civil society serves as a linkage between the governed and the government. Now, if there is an issue on board, as a civil society, can take their view to reflect the views of the ordinary people. But beyond that, I've told you that there were people, some people demonstrated in Asante. They were ordinary people who demonstrated and said that no, the government should downsize. Now, me, I am pensem the ordinary interaction, regular interaction with ordinary people also suggested to me, say, identifiable groups, I can downsize, ordinary people. Let's name our example. Ordinary people, and so no master take say, abaying on to the ministers and also. What's a young fan to my way, young fighting better, abaying to the ministers. Ordinary people were saying something. It is not only about the identifiable groups. The identifiable groups, the owners of the land, we could use that as a basis. Say that this is what the people are saying, but the idea has translated or has transcended beyond the level of the identifiable people. And then the ordinary people, other can way and say, they sure say what is the ordinary person? It could do my faith. One ambassadors
It's a matter of we can say yes, sanitizing views because I have say wait me and see a but we go back to the core of the representation of the People's Act, of which President we are told the buck stops with him. MPs we are told who say they should represent their constituents, and for this matter, say uvo to 8 years say ma yemfa new ministers of which now we have a total of 86, 87, if I'm right. And that is a far cry from the earlier 125 Nini Penny Abrisuno. And
super say 86, 85 okay, yeah. That's what you're saying.
So Muhammad did 85.
Well, maybe I do know. It's not a size of government that is in the region of the 80s. Abaya sabe a teacher for a couple soon. Actually, say is cannot answer yen, yen, to become a patchow. Say, inibi, intino, monum, sium fan chop, and I say, inibi, intino, yen nabi mamono. Or a Ghana for Nina, Ghana for saying, Obia, why you man and Edo Sika, ACA for pension. I buy some of the mensa the boom. Then no more, as someone buy and I into no, who call why investment kakra, the walk year, Ubacon Sika 10,000, I buy some amount 6,000, or say a mark to market value, be so say, no, young fan to my yemna, yenum shoe and train or pay. Pensioners, individual bondholders, Namiam Patana, a woman called demonstration. I say, I want you to ban to do a massacre for women as a kid. I won't call yes, idea. Now, government, and now size of government around 86 and I say, yeah. Now, what person would demonstrate to say, fight, yen sacrifice or not? The leadership, governance and leadership must start from the government. It's a year, and I will say, buying size a year 86. The framers of the constitution, more cabinet ministers, almost 19 to 21, and I'm
yeah, 19.
19. And even the framers of the constitution, if it was a 19 ministers, which make a woman. Now, so median 86, Mateso Abatetia. A sign, Yamutra Abentia. Enka, Etina, there will be a cost strike, and I said, Tina will be making demands on the government. No, share the sacrifice are buying a year. Abeka said, a buying uncles are not sacrificing, the instrument sacrificing. But 2020, that's what I see. I will be I will be some questions say, and I said, Mahamanya 85 was 84, now we 86. I mean, Yeshua Papa Nishia. Democracy is about copying best practices. 3 John chapter 11. No, Osisha Papa Nishia. And to me, mfa to mutia. Say, we are tinting. When you're tinting that, baby, I was here, monga ye ko se omomfa yaka free na fanche no omo size of government saying na ye de obi an the government so e dey be compare obi an
Oh, but Prof, Obaji di say, Professor Gyampo, Esnobia ene na juma se do see no. There were a year former President John Kufuor, who are the outside of the castle precinct, no. I can say criticize say a year more ministers. Who see say or no ba bam.
Utie Oha Echi Pongno Needs FM.